Well, it is 8 o'clock, Classic Radio Roundup. I have a lot of static, so either my radio's not working or there's just too much static out there.
All that stuff. They're not going to go down on that. On Shoe Leather Express.
Yep, 8:03. It's going to be a quiet one tonight.
Not yet, anyway. Okay, here we go. 27.115 on your AM radio dial. Let's run a time once again for a Classic Radio Roundup on Channel 13.
Good evening.
Hello, Joker. How's it going out there?
It's going good. How you doing? Now that I'm inside in the air conditioner. Well, even though I've been inside most of the day with the air conditioner.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's brutal outside. It's still brutal outside. The temperature's dropped a little bit, but the humidity's coming up, and it's just ugly. Just not the kind of conditions I look forward to. I would much prefer 75 and about 40% humidity.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wouldn't we all? Yeah, I was out just making some dinner on the grill, and just out there, it's just, man, it's oppressive. It just hits you.
Yeah, it's like trying to swim through a soup or something. It's ew. But it does look to be a bit quiet in here tonight. Hopefully things pick up in a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sitting on about 5 pounds of just static. I don't know how yours is doing tonight.
I've got about a S3 noise level. course, you know, I change radios around, so sometimes an S3 is another radio's S6 and another radio's S1, so it sounds about normal.
Yeah, this radio might just have a loose meter. I'm not sure. I don't use it enough to really know.
Yeah, which radio is that?
It's one of those little mobile 23 channel SST Brownings.
Oh, the Browning SST. A nice Toshiba chassis radio. They have really sensitive receivers in them. I've got the equivalent to that radio. I got a Tram Diamond 40. Basically the same radio in a different box. And it always seems like it's noisier on that radio too. I seem to have a higher meter deflection of noise, but it hears really well. So, but it does have it has a pretty good noise blanker in it too. If I kick that on, it knocks a lot of it out.
Yeah, I'm messing with it. I don't think my noise blanker's working too well.
Yeah, well, you know, you can't win them all.
No, I think I have 2 or 3 of these. One was from my grandparents' estate. Yeah, I have another one that's got the 2 silver little switches. This one has the black plastic, and I think that one that I'm not on right now, I think it's all frequency a little bit. I don't know if that can be fixed or not.
Yeah, on those radios, that particular chassis, yeah, there is a main adjustment that you can net frequency in on. The only problem is if you've got like one crystal that's way off in one direction and another one that's way off in the other, the best you can do is split the difference or you know, put it on frequency on the channels you want and not worry about the rest of them.
Yeah, 10-4. Well, it would probably just be making sure channel 13's on frequency.
Yeah, that's usually how I do it, you know. Although, if I can put a little picofarad capacitance across or in series with a crystal to bring it in without too much trouble, I'll try to do that. I usually don't have much trouble with solid state radios. The tube ones are the ones where they can get really whacked out, like my Browning, my Mark III Browning has some crystals in there that are half a channel off, and I think one crystal is practically a whole channel off. It's like, I took the one for channel 13 and I netted that one in and got it on frequency and went like, yeah, I'm not going to worry about the rest of them.
Yeah, 10-4. I was gonna say it doesn't sound crunchy, or the audio doesn't sound weird, does it?
No, you sound perfectly fine. No pain, no strain, as they say.
10-4. Yeah, I was looking at my meter earlier. It looks like it's probably pushing stock about roughly around 4-ish watts. I usually don't try to go above that going into the amp. So I was just hoping it's not sounding crunchy.
Oh, yeah. If you got a low drive amp, you know, 4 watts might be pushing it. They'd like to see 2.5 to 3 at the most.
Well, the paperwork says it'll take a stock regular radio, not an import or anything. And I think you can hit it with at least 6 plus, no more than 10, I think it says dead key.
Well, you know, they tell you stuff like that, but usually, you know, you'll start backswinging when you push it that hard. You know, a 2-pill amp doesn't really like to be driven with anything more than, unless of course it's a high drive amp where they have, you know, some sort of attenuation in the front end, so you can drive it with a 10 or 15 watt radio or something. But you know, normally 4 watts is probably at the limit. They really like to be driven with like 2.5 watts, because then you don't get as much power out, obviously, on the carrier, but your peak power will still be there. And you know, if it's going to be 120 or 150 watts peak, you know, it's better if you're putting out a 40-watt carrier than a 70-watt carrier.
Yeah, 10.4. I was looking at my meter, and it does seem to be pushing forward.
Yeah, but is that a peak reading meter or an average reading meter?
I can do both, peak or average. What's better?
Well, I mean, both of them have their place, but I always like an average reading meter because if I key up and then I talk and the meter swings backwards, then I know I'm putting out too much carrier for the headroom of the amplifier, and you back the drive down accordingly, it stops going backwards and it stays steady or maybe moves forward ever so slightly.
Okay. Yeah, it's maybe on average it might be going back, just wiggling a little bit.
Yeah, so that says you've got a little bit too much carrier for the PEP of the amplifier.
Is this a chassis that's hard to knock the carrier down a little bit, or is that more involved?
Well, you can detune it, I guess, but you got to be careful because you don't want to detune it out of resonance. You want to, you can tune the coil one way or you can tune it another way. What the heck is that? There's somebody going by my house with one of them super duper subwoofers, pumping and bumping. Good grief. This thing's picking it up. Wow. So much for low frequencies.
That's interesting. I kind of heard that in the background a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, wow. Yeah, I didn't think this mic would pick up something that low, but evidently it is. Well, my EQ's probably pushing it a little bit too.
Yeah, roger that. What radio are you on?
I am on my President Washington with my hi-fi audio.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe everybody else's coax melted off.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, maybe Pete's on vacation again or something. I know supposedly he went to visit some friends over the weekend, but I would think he's back by now. Like I usually do, I went scanning the usual HF bands that these guys might be hiding away on, and I didn't hear anything, so that doesn't, that just means I didn't find them, I guess. Who knows?
10.4.
Calibrated my meter. A little bit less dry on this radio, but yeah, she's got all of it though. That's all that matters. All right, let's see. We'll do a roll call there. Where's Wayne? Uh-oh. No Wayne?
Wayne's right here.
Don't sound like Wayne. Sounds like a good old boy.
Because it doesn't sound like the Wayne I remember.
No, that's my middle name, Wayne.
It's like Daryl and my other brother Daryl.
nice to hear you, middle name Wayne. What's your 20?
Yeah, locals call me JW. I'm down here in Tennessee.
That's kind of what I figured.
All right there, JW. Yeah, you got Joker here and Sandbagger. Just on our local Wednesday night jib jab.
That's cool.
Yeah, I can tell you I was carrying on a local conversation, so I didn't really want to butt in. But anyway, I'll just wave a hand and get back out of the way. Y'all have a good one. Where was y'all's location?
We are north of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
10-4, north of Pennsylvania there. Anyway, y'all have yourself a good one. JW down here in Tennessee, but we'll get back out of the way.
Thank you. You have a good night.
That's a yo. How about that JW out there? JW over in Clarksville, Tennessee. I guess we're going to have Skip popping in here tonight. I ain't going to bother nobody not on this station. Hello, JW.
I guess the waves are coming.
Yeah. I was reading somewhere where the sunspot activity is going to get, next couple days is supposed to be pretty high, so the player Skip's going to be back in there for the really long distance stuff. It was toasty.
Yeah, a lot of mornings I'll have my radio on 38 just to see if I can make any long distance, and I haven't had it on for like a week or week and a half in the mornings.
Yeah, all 38's kind of a friggin' zoo anymore. All kinds of weirdos hanging out there and making noise and, disrupting things. You really can't make legitimate contacts there anymore. With rare exceptions, of course.
Yeah, the nice thing is with my beam up again, I just point it east, and I just try to capture Europe.
Maybe you can hear me over the noise. Yeah, having a beam helps. You can point it where you want to be and away from where you don't want to be.
Yep. Yeah, I gotta pull it down and fix the way I have everything mounted, and then put that other little section on and get it back to where it was. Because when I had it with that, before I brought it all down, that thing worked great. It still works okay, but that extra 5 feet that I took away seems to have changed a little bit.
Well, yeah, if the antenna's closer to the roof or something like that, it's gonna change the SWR curve and everything, and yeah, they're very sensitive to that kind of stuff. So yeah, 5 more feet, you put the air a little bit further away from the ground and a little bit further away from the roof and siding and any other stuff, then yeah, that would be better.
That would be the one thing I'm glad about the way it is right now. The SWR is pretty nice. It's not bad at all. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, and the other thing too is I'm going to use that same tuner. And there are heights that matter. Usually a full wavelength off the ground is supposed to be the optimal. That's 36 feet. That's supposed to be an optimal takeoff angle for a horizontal beam. And you don't, if you put it lower than that, then your takeoff angle increases. So that can be problematic. Anyway, Bob, stop rubbing against my mic. God, stinking cat.
He wants to get in the conversation.
They're talking about takeoff angles, man. I need to learn that. Stepping down on my microphone here. I had to shoot him away.
Checking in down there around that classic radio roundup up here in Bethlehem. Want to say hello, Mr. Sandman waving.
Hello, Sandman.
Hello there. Who is that?
Sandbagger.
Oh, Sandbagger. Okay. Yep. You're sounding good today.
Like usual. Yep. Thanks for letting me know. This is getting down here a little bit.
Yeah, you usually come down here in fine style. Of course, I'm on a different radio this week than I was last week and the week before that, and we have quite a few to walk around.
Ain't heard it come through yet.
Yep, very nice audio, Sandbagger, for sure. Yep, I'm running an old Ranger. This is, it's a low power radio, but it still works a little bit.
Yeah, this is a President Washington, but I did some high fidelity modifications to it, and I'm having a check in a certain band EQ on it, and it does a nice job.
Yeah, well, they had good audio right out of the boxes, those radios, so yeah, you got a good point there. Something to work with, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if the guys start hanging out on 29 megahertz up there on the 10 meter band, I might modify this to go up there, and they can running those old Johnson Vikings and whatnot with all that high fidelity going on. I can bring this one up there and tell them it's a plastic radio, and it's doing this.
Do you have extra channels in that one?
Although it's for need, but it will go up. I have an 858 PLL chip in it, and I know I can get it to 29 megahertz, but I'll have to readjust everything. Yeah, it would be fun.
Alrighty, well, that thing's sounding good, Sandbagger. We're going to clear out of here and let this channel roll. Let you land over there and heat some more check-ins, and thanks for getting to me. Give me a couple words, and I'll get back to you. I'll come back into that.
78. Alrighty. Have a good one. Check it out. Buy again. And they're being
Cleared back then is still in use today.
Alright, we're going to do
County, Cheatham County.
We got a rooster out here.
And Dixon County.
There's Rooster. Okay. There's another voice we haven't heard in a little while. How you doing?
Good evening, Rooster.
What's that?
You guys doing okay? What they call the
I'm still on the good side of the dirt here, but yeah, no pain or strain.
Yeah, and there ain't too much modulation, is there?
No, right at the moment you're good.
Good evening there, Rooster.
Hello there, Joker. How are you doing?
Doing good. I was going to text you today, see if you were going to be on tonight.
Hey, I'll be on tonight. Yeah, I gotta go upstairs for a little bit, then I'll be back then.
10-4. Yeah, I might have to pop out for a minute. I got some business I have to attend to.
You checked in while you outside. Yeah, 10-4 there, Joker. Yeah, Dave, I gotta bring some stuff up to you one of these days.
Uh-oh. What do you got?
Wait for that. I got a pyramid amplifier and that Mark III.
Pyramid amplifier or a power supply?
Yes, power supply.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I know Pyramid makes power supplies. I didn't think they made amps, but I could have been wrong.
Yeah, well, I took it out to David Bordertown to get it fixed, and he can't fix it, and he said the fan inside fell apart and shorted it out. That's a little more hefty than what you have now.
Yeah, you probably can't get the parts anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't go on the computer, so I figured I'd let you look at it, and if not, you can keep it for parts. I said, that's a little more hefty than what you've got up now.
Yeah, I can give a look at it, and I mean, there's a cost curve, the cost to repair versus the cost to replace. And sometimes when you're talking about things like power supplies, sometimes it's just cheaper to buy a new one.
Well, I spent up to $100, $150 or something because I think the new one's $300 some dollars.
Well, what do you say? Those things really got expensive. I can remember when you could get, 30 amp supplies for like $50.
I really don't remember how much I paid for it, but I paid, I think, $460 for my 200 amp power supply. I've never had enough.
Yeah, when you get into major amps like that, the price goes up exponentially. But for something like 20 to 40 amps, that area, they didn't used to be all that expensive. And nowadays, a lot of them, don't even have big transformers in them. They're switching supplies, and they're actually cheaper. You can get switching supplies a lot cheaper than the old linear supplies.
Yeah, I think my 200 is a switching power supply. But I had an Astron power supply, and that was a regular power supply, but that was really expensive. But that was heavy. It was really heavy, too.
Some of them aren't cheap.
Yeah, I'll have to get your phone number off of JR. I mean, if that's okay. You can tell JR to give it to me sometime unless you don't want him to, or whatever, In shape, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't care. Then you can text me or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go upstairs. I'll be back about half an hour or so.
Now you said the other thing was the Mark III. What's wrong with that?
The one, two pieces. The one piece stopped working. He said he was using it. He said he was talking on it, and the one piece smoked, but he don't know what was wrong with it.
So what? The transmitter or the receiver?
Mine at 28. He didn't tell me which one it was, but one of them smoked. He said. All kind of jack.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll figure it out, I guess.
Yeah. I got a bunch of parts and transistors and stuff I want to bring up to you, and relays and stuff, see if you might be able to use them or something, because I don't think I'm ever going to use them.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get with you then, and I'll talk to you about half an hour or so.
Alrighty. We'll be here for a bit anyway. Starting off kind of slow tonight, but maybe it'll pick up.
Right. Okay, I'll be back.
Roger. Classic Radio Roundup, 27.115 on your AM radio dial.
Yes, sir. That would work on my system.
Who's that fellow trying to check in on that antique radio roundup? You want to get in there? Oh, well, guess he can't hear me.
Yeah, I didn't hear whoever it was. There's a bit of stuff running in there tonight.
That 30 kW won't work on the Gizmodo. It just the elements won't hold it up.
Yeah, the out-of-towners are starting to cover up pretty good.
Well, if you try to use what it is, it won't work. They make it work, make a diamond shape thing to go on the board, on the element, connect all three of them together. Out of some kind of type of PVC or something that would make a big diamond shape. Deal the both of them up together and it would hold it in.
Yeah.
Then that increases your wind load on that thing. Hello, Mr. Potato Head. Doing good. Just wanted to wave my hand. I heard you. Okay.
is brought to you by Richie's Drug Store. Are you throwing a bash and need some hash? Well, take your cash and make a dash down to Richie's Drug Store, where our motto is, if it gets you high, we have it at low, low prices. That's Richie's Drug Store. Ooh. Ooh, look at that. We're already high.
What about the loose screw? I mean, wing nut. Don't burn them off. Yeah, that's right. Well, actually, only eight shots with the fingers. I hear you. It got hot pretty quick. Fill up all the tractors, my 2 tractors. I ran up and got some diesel fuel, spent $80 in a hurry.
Keep trying.
You can hear this? Okay.
Yeah, I hear it. Sounds a little different, but I hear it.
All right.
Yeah, that sounds okay.
Hey, Bike Buster, what's going on?
Whole lot. You doing okay?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Have a good one. Be steel cutter down in Tennessee.
Oh, steel cutter, I'm sorry. I thought you were one of the locals up here. Okay, yeah, steel cutter. Good deal. You've been in there the whole time. Right.
All right, buddy. Have a good evening.
Yep, Mr. Sandman up here in Allentown, Pennsylvania. 327.
All right, Mr. Sandman. Have a good upcoming day. We'll catch you later.
Thank you very much. You do the same.
Classic Radio Roundup.
Can you hear me right there, JWS? Down there low as this thing is.
Good evening.
Yes, it is.
Other than Mr. Sandman.
It is good, man. Yeah, any evening that you're not working is a good evening.
And got my truck off. Got one piece coming tomorrow. Got a new license plate cut.
Yeah, this working for a living's getting tiresome.
Well, I got
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cramping my style, Well, actually, what am I talking about? I've been working for a year.
got one more piece here tomorrow. I got ordered a new license plate. We just put it on. I'll be ready to roll.
Well, I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna go grab a beverage. I'll be back.
Oh, yes, beverage time. That's something I got to do. I finished up my Coke, and now I'm going to go grab a water or something. Got to keep the old mouth nice and well lubricated there, so words come slipping out instead of stumbling out.
How's that go? Make sure your tongue's not battling your lips.
Well, I just want to make sure. I want to make sure that my tongue doesn't get wrapped around my eye teeth, because then I won't be able to see what I'm saying.
That wouldn't be good.
I believe I could use a Mako 20,000. I can make it work. 30 acres.
All right. Third time's the charm. Where's Wayne? I guess Wayne and Pete and JR and Nitrate are all having a party somewhere, and I didn't get invited. Good grief.
Yep.
That's right. Joker, I apologize for not getting back to you sooner. I haven't forgotten about you. Once I get this next week out of the way, maybe we can meet up sometime and dump off what you want me to look at.
Okay, yeah, no worries. I figured you had a bunch of stuff going on, and everybody's got a lot of stuff going on, so I try not to be a bother.
Yeah, Train keeps sneaking stuff in there. I'm surprised how many things he has. one thing at a time.
At 10-4. Yeah, like I said, I'd like to get my Washington back up and running and figure out why that the modulation cuts out or the power cuts out. And then I don't know why the 2547 I have isn't on frequency anymore. But, you know, that's kind of the two big ones, or not big ones, but the two that I was thinking. And then I got that P600 President. That is it's a mystery machine.
Yeah, the one that looks like a Washington, but is not quite or something, yeah.
Yeah, apparently the AM side is very Washington, but everything else isn't.
Cut out early, break. He was going to...
Yeah, that's a strange thing, you know. Well, we'll take a look at it and we'll try to figure it out one way or the other. Is that the problem with that radio? It works on AM but not on sideband?
Yeah, the last couple of times I tried to use it on AM, it seemed to have a little bit of a squeal to it. No matter what mic I would run or what, it would just have like a little squeal in there.
Yeah, that sounds like electrolytic capacitors. That radio was probably made during the bad years where the 10-volt caps were dying left and right. And, there's a bypass cap on one of the mic preamps that if it goes bad, it's what it does. It squeals. My Cobra 2000 was doing that. And I replaced it once and started doing it again like 5 or 6 years later. I had to replace it again.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not too sure. I just know, it worked great. I shut it off and didn't turn it on for like 25 years, and then it didn't work.
Yeah, well, that's another clue right there. You have a working radio that gets parked for a number of years, and now it doesn't work right anymore. Well, other than the obvious things like tarnished switches and things like that, the electrolytic caps, they age and they dry out, and that's usually the most common thing to go bad. Most of the other stuff, like resistors, transistors, and stuff, they don't really age, and you're not using them, so it's just those electrolytics.
Yeah, I mean, it sat in my old bedroom at my dad's house, so it wasn't like it was in a garage or an attic or a basement. It literally sat on the desk. That one day I shut it off and didn't touch it again. Like I said, it had to be over 20 years.
Yeah, that's kind of why I like to try to circulate my radios and make sure I use them. Because I don't want them to sit for too long. Because they get cranky, They want to be loved on a regular basis, and if you neglect them, they get pissed.
And now it's saying about 840.
Yeah, speaking of capacitors and stuff, so at work we have a very nice Avalon microphone preamp. It started getting to the point where I had to keep gaining it up on the input, and then it was just almost unusable for recording vocals. And the only place that we could find to fix it was out in Burbank, California. We ship it out there, they repaired it, did everything to it, shipped it back to us. We used it a little bit, didn't use it that much. Like 6 months ago, we fired it up to use it again, and it's got this low little bit of a hum to it. And I started doing some research, and it's like power supply capacitors going bad.
To the northwest.
Yep, that happens.
Kind of a bummer though, because we just had it repaired, and I thought they recapped the entire thing. It's a very expensive preamp, and it wasn't a cheap repair. But I'm like, we don't want to ship it all the way back out to Burbank, and nobody in the area on the East Coast fixes those things.
Yeah, you can't get somebody to fix it. That basically makes it a doorstop.
Yeah, so we're thinking about putting it up for sale, telling the buyer what the issue is, and, cutting our loss with it. I mean, he's owned it for probably close to 20 plus years, so he's used it, he's got his money out of it, but now I think it's time to move on.
it's getting to the point now where we live in a disposable society. You know, it's not, nobody fixes things anymore. They
just the way it is.
they just toss it out and buy a new one. You know, and I know when I grew up, we fixed everything. I mean, people didn't even throw shoes out. They took them to the store and put new soles on them or whatever. And they repaired shoes, they repaired lawnmowers, you know, everything. The washing machines, it didn't matter. There was always somebody that you could get to repair stuff, and if you couldn't do it yourself, there was always somebody else out there that could, and it was always a lot cheaper than buying a new one.
Yeah, I had to sign on.
Yep. I was just saying to the wife today, knock on wood, our refrigerator's still going. But my refrigerator, my stove, my washer, dryer, and my microwave are all from 1989. I think they're KitchenAid or Kenmore. I forget now. And yeah, I fixed the washing machine a couple times. I fixed the dryer. I fixed my my oven. I'm like, I'm just going to keep, you know, $15, $20 part here and there, keep them running.
Yeah, I've fixed our range a couple of times. You know, the circuit board goes bad, and I ordered another one and put it in there, and away we go. And the old washer we had, there were door switches and things that would go bad, and there was a diagnostic mode you could put it in, and it would figure out what it is. And you know, but the other problem is a lot of those electronic parts aren't cheap. I took a gamble on my dishwasher. My dishwasher is now on the fritz. And I figured it was the control board, and I had to put over $100 to put the control board in there. Well, it turns out it's not the control board, it's the membrane with all the push buttons and the lights on it. Well, they want $300 for that. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'll buy a new dishwasher. This one's 15 years old anyway.
Yeah, at that point, just cut your loss. Oh, no, that's the other thing I fixed. My dishwasher, same thing. They're all the same brand, all installed in the house when my wife's grandparents built it. But, yeah, it's just that you fix the stuff, you know? I forget where I was reading it, but apparently there's a appliance company that's coming out with a line of like washers and dryers that are basic again. No control, no touch screens, no nothing, just old school knobs again.
Well, yeah, I'm getting to be that way with cars and a lot of things. You know, we've gotten way too complicated with stuff. I don't need my refrigerator checking in on the internet, and I don't need to control my stove from my phone. You know, it's just not. To me, things were a lot simpler when they were simply mechanical and didn't have all this electronic nonsense in it. Because when that stuff goes bad, it's expensive.
Yeah, you know, like you said, sometimes I heard some people, they had to have technicians come out with almost like a OBD2 scanner for appliances. They hook them up to a diagnostic port.
Yeah, well, that's what you need. Specialized tools just to diagnose things now.
Everybody always says progress, but sometimes I don't think progress is moving us forward at all. It's gotten a lot of people a little bit, let's say, not as smart.
97.115 on your AM radio dial. Classic Radio Roundup. On Channel 13.
And what's the format for tonight?
I guess just any classic radio. There's no theme or format for tonight. Just classic radio and chit chat. Oh.
Yeah, if your radio is 1983 or older, it's a classic.
Well, let's see. I got a 525 hooked up Lafayette right now, so that's about 50 years old.
Well, you made the mark then.
Who was that you were talking to? I could just hear him through the noise.
At first I thought it was Porky. That's not you, Porky, is it?
It's me. Yeah, I picked up this one for $5, only because it was the first 23 channel all-in-one mobile, you know, that I bought when I was young.
10 for you. That's Porky. He's right up the street from me. I mean, for $5, it sounds pretty good.
I know, you can't go wrong for $5.
I was gonna say if it transmits, receives, and it, turns on and off, that's a good deal.
It turns on and off, and it transmits and receives, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, like I said, it was the first mobile I bought when I was about 19 or 20. It's got to be 57 years old or so.
Nice. And what model did you say it is?
The Lafayette 525.
Lafayette 525. Neat.
Oh, those things are like a brick, man. You could probably kill somebody with one of those.
A little heavy radio, yes. It's got a lot in it. But I got to find a mic plug. I mean, it's got that upside down Y with the pins that stick out. So September, when they have their thing up there in Kutztown, I'll go up there and see if I can find a mic plug. I got a Turner Plus 2 hand mic I want to put on it. This is the stock mic here. It's that ugly one that looks like somebody smoked for a long time.
Yeah, those 525s had that weird Lafayette Y-shaped plug. Most of those Lafayettes back then did. My Telstat SSB50 and the SSB25 have those.
That one here has the right plug configuration, but it's too big for the Lafayette radio, because this one has a big shield around it sticking out on the side of the case. But anyway, let you guys get back to what you're doing. Now I got to go downstairs and get a drink. So, threes were gone.
Roger that there. Well, nice talking to you. I haven't talked to you in a bit.
Time is it? Oh, it's 5 minutes before the big hour of 9 o'clock. Maybe Night Train will grace us with his presence at 9 o'clock-ish. And maybe JR will be done sunning himself on the back porch, and he'll jump in there too.
Out catching some rays.
Any rays I want to catch coming out of my air conditioner vent.
Yeah, since well, my sleep is terrible, but in the mornings, a couple days of the week, I'll try to get out in the morning and just kind of walk around right behind my house for a minute and just kind of get a little bit of sun, a little bit of nature, and then I'm like, all right, time to go back in, get ready.
Yeah, I keep telling myself I need to start walking. And there's always something else going on, and by the time the day's over, it's like, oh crap, I forgot to walk today. And now it's too freaking hot. I'm not going to walk when it's 98 degrees outside. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, we're switching trash companies at work, and tomorrow's normally trash day, but we switched, so tomorrow's trash day, and my boss, he had to run some errands, and he's like, hey, the new trash bins are out at the end of the driveway. So I took all the trash that was in the bins up at the house, I walked them down the driveway, and I'm transferring them. And I'm like, oh, now I need another trash bag. So I had to walk all the way back up to his house, all the way back down, all the way back up again. And his driveway's probably a good quarter mile long.
Well, you're getting your exercise then.
That's what I thought. I was like, for somebody that's not supposed to be super active job, I was like, well, today was an active job.
Yeah, you think you're going to go in there and sit on your butt all day, and then all of a sudden you got that to do.
I had 9,000. Oh wait, yeah. No, hold on. What's today? Yeah, 9,461 steps today.
Yeah, you got me beat. What do I got? I got 7,837.
Yeah, I think work. My days I usually average between 7 and 10,000 almost.
Yeah, it all depends on what I'm doing. If I'm moving around a lot and like moving stuff and working in the yard and working on cars, and I get a lot of steps in doing that. But if I'm in the house mostly staying out of the weather or working on radios or something like that, then then I end up like 3,800 steps or something. It's like, oh boy.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I have stairs on this, because the main floor where the studio is steps, and I'm going up and down all day. I'm usually doing like 12 to 20 flights of stairs a day.
Oh man, actually that's tough on the knees, but it's good exercise.
I definitely don't have the best of knees. Never had good knees growing up, and all the years of biking or BMX, not biking, but BMX and skateboarding and dirt bikes definitely abused the knees.
Yeah, I've been taking that stuff that JR recommended. I mix up the ginger root and lemons and the cayenne pepper, and I've been doing it now for probably about 3 weeks, and my knees are starting to feel better. I don't have as much pain. I haven't had that shooting pain, so maybe this stuff's working. I'm going to keep going. I made up a whole new batch today because I'm going to take it with me when I go up to the mountains, so I can continue taking it up there.
Yeah, I was doing that every day until I got lazy and stopped taking it every day. I found I take that apple pectin powder. That seems to help inflammation, which seems like it helps my joints.
Yeah, there are little like that seem to at least claim they'll help alleviate pain. But yeah, you got to do what you got to do, but you got to be careful too. There's a lot of stuff on the internet there. You know, oh yeah, take this and do that and blah blah blah, and money back guarantee, and like, yeah, okay. A lot of that stuff is snake oil.
Well, I mean, yeah, definitely anymore with the all the remedies and the magic potions and pills and all that stuff. Yeah, I try to stick to kind of all natural type of stuff because I figure the side effects shouldn't be as bad, which I do know, not everything in nature is good for you, but I'd rather do that sometimes than all this pharmaceutical stuff. When you hear a commercial and the side effects are way worse than the thing you're trying to treat.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. I see all these drugs advertised for certain conditions, and then they come with a list of side effects, and I'm thinking, geez, do I really want to take this? I mean, I guess, granted, the side effects aren't guaranteed, and certain people get them, and they have to tell you about them, and some people get them and some people don't. But some of them are really scary. Stuff that says, oh, there's a risk of death. I'm like, do I want to take this? I don't know. Maybe I'll stick with the problem I have.
Yeah, when they're doing that commercial and everybody's smiling and happy and they're taking these pills, and then they go to the warnings and it goes, may cause death. I think that's like maybe a red flag.
Yeah, it's like a very big, huge, gawking red flag. Again, it's probably in very rare cases, but, they have to let you know about it. The possibility's there, not as unlikely as it might
be. Yeah, the thing I learned about in the drug world and all that kind of stuff is there's a thing called cases not reported or something not reported. I think it's cases not reported. That means it's the information that comes in after the trial is over that they don't necessarily have to disclose.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I'm still waiting for, the other shoe to fall on this whole COVID vaccine nonsense. All these cardiac arrests and all these other problems that popped up with people all of a sudden in their, young people under 40 and, dropping dead from cardiac arrests and, something that never really happened before, but now all of a sudden, after COVID, it's been a lot more frequent and other things like that. And there's no evidence that links them, but it wasn't there before, so it's either maybe the disease or what it was that we were fighting the disease with, but, the last thing they want to do is admit something like that, because then it'll be lawsuit city.
Yep, there's a lot of money at stake with that stuff. Yeah, I was going to say, cardiac issues, heart conditions, and cancers seem to be pretty rampant anymore. And like you were saying, the 30s to 40s, since all this happened.
I'm a little off frequency. There we go. Now I'm on freak. Yeah, that's the thing, those mRNA vaccines like the Pfizer one and the Moderna one, they muck with your DNA, and my sister-in-law came down with lupus after getting a shot like that, and people people's immune systems seem to be worse than they used to be. I mean, it supposedly, helped fight off COVID, but it wrecked you for other things. I'm just glad that I got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, because that one was supposedly made the old-fashioned way and not through this mRNA technology. And I'm crossing my fingers that won't come back to bite me.
Yeah, I didn't do it. I refused all of it. I didn't do anything. Speaking of that, I gotta go check. I gotta go make sure the wife is boiling eggs, because something smells kind of hot. I'll be back.
Well, hopefully they're not rotten eggs. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of a standby here. I'm going to go run downstairs and grab myself a bottle of water, and I'll be back. Classic Radio Roundup will continue. not going to be here tonight. That's terrible. There we go. Is this going to do anything? There we go. All right. Make sure we have just a little bit of slap back in there. Just for a little depth.
Yeah, I haven't hooked up my EQ in a while. It's sometimes it's a pain.
Well, yeah. If you don't have it, the impedance properly matched, or it's the cable's not shielded right or something, and you get stray hum or a squeal in there or something, that's always a problem there.
Yeah, how it's set up right now, I think I have it set up that it works really well on my little President Lincoln, that little mobile. It sounds good on AM on that, but that's about it at the moment.
Well, it's kind of pointless to put an EQ into the mic jack of a standard radio because the radio's bandwidth limited anyway to 300 to 3,000 hertz. Communications quality audio, unless you open up the radio to accept wider frequency bandwidth, kind of pointless. You can squeeze all that extra wide signal in there. You can kind of tailor the mid-range stuff and make it sound a little better, especially for mics that maybe are a little tinny or a little bassy. You can kind of compensate for that and kind of make any mic sound pretty good, but you won't really get the high fidelity effects.
Yeah, I wonder if that's why it works better with the newer radio. Maybe it's a bit better bandwidth than a frequency response than the older ones.
Well, it depends on the radio. The older tube radios, some of the older tube radios had more low end in them. Like my high gain Utopia, that goes down to like 100 hertz, and it's got some bottom end already. And some of the tube radios are like that, like the Trams and a couple of the others that would allow that. It seems like they got tighter as they got newer, the FCC and all that kind of crap, and so I don't know.
Yeah, I got those 2-tube radios here that I don't use because I did fry an amp with the one. I guess I got to match the output and all that stuff, and Train was explaining it to me one night, but I just I don't know. It was going over my head a little bit.
Well, yeah, most tube radios have a load and a plate capacitor. It's basically like a mini tuner and matches the impedance of the output stage with the impedance of your antenna and feed line. And you usually just adjust it until you get max power out. A lot of people will tune them into a dummy load, but then your antenna's not going to have a flat resistive 50 ohm match, so you really need to readjust the load at least to match your antenna. But then, see, that's the other thing, you match it to your antenna, but then you put an amplifier in line, and when you kick the amplifier on, now you're not looking at your antenna anymore, you're looking at the input circuit of the amplifier, which is going to present a different, impedance than what your antenna was, before, so, and you got to go through that process again, and optimize it for whichever one you're using the most, I guess.
Yeah, maybe one of these days I'll throw the one on, but I would just be barefoot for the night, and I don't know who, some of the farther guys probably wouldn't hear me.
Yeah. Life's too short for barefoot. I don't know. My volume control pot is getting a little scratchy. Yeah, there you go. I'm trying something here. Don't mind me. made a couple of changes and adjustment here to see if it's not, but I was getting a little bit of limiter kicking there. Nope, there it is a little bit there. I got this microphone AGC circuit, and I think it's attacking a little too quickly. I may have to change values in there. The Cobra 139 XLR has a better time constant on these AGCs than I think this one does. This might be an older version, and the realistic one is like that too. It snaps in there real quickly and it fades off. And I think this one's kind of more like that. And it seems to be less doing it now at all. With the mic gain cranked and I turn the microphone down, and I'm not hitting it as hard. So, I think that's more better.
Yeah, because I was say there we are. That's just this radio, Barefoot. Not sure if you can still hear me.
Yeah, I can still hear you, but now you're coming in with my noise level in the background. You're not completely quieting my receiver anymore.
10-4. Yeah, maybe one of these nights I'll just do a listening party with the tube radio. See who can hear me.
Well, we will hear you. I mean, it's not exactly a big deal, I guess, but you just won't be as strong as you usually are.
Yeah, they're just sitting here in the room, just sitting. I have that Sonar, the Mustang, and sandwiched between them is my good old Kraco.
Oh, the Mustang, that's the one you got from Pete, right?
Yeah, I got both these from Pete.
Oh, you got the Sonar from him too. That's right, he did have a Sonar. Very good. Okay. Yeah, the Sonar is a really good radio. That was very well made.
Yeah, I just need to learn how to, like you were saying, tune it so I don't blow stuff up.
Well, you shouldn't have blown something up. I mean, unless that radio is putting out a crap ton more power than your other radios, it shouldn't have blown anything up.
Yeah, it was showing decent wattage on my watt meter, that it wouldn't be blowing anything up, but it fried one of my little those little RMs because I was trying it on that, and it did not like it.
Well, those RMs with the MOSFETs in them are kind of crappy anyway. You look at them funny and they'll blow. There we go. There's another country heard from.
Well, good evening out there around the Band Night Train signing on.
Yeah, doing your Skeeter impression.
The Breakers.
Yeah, that sounds like Skeeter, but I know better.
That's right. Hello out there, Bagger. Hello, Joker. Who else is out there? I just came in.
Well, we're kind of lean tonight. Sandman up in Bethlehem area checked in earlier. Rooster was in there, and he said he'd be back. And just Joker and I and a couple of guys from Tennessee. But yeah, it's quiet on the home front. Well, couldn't even get a check-in from Wayne, and no Pete. Well, JR is liable to show up because he's been enjoying the weather outside. So, who knows?
Well, that should be enough to bring him in the house if he was enjoying the weather outside, because it's miserable out there.
Well, that's kind of what I say too. It's muggy, humid, and not comfortable. You know, I'm basking in the coolness of my air conditioner.
Yeah, me too. Hello there, Joker. How you doing, man?
Good, man. How you been?
I'm doing alright. Hello out there, Red Baron. I hear you too. Hello there, Red Baron. Enjoy your evening, man. I just came across the yard to get on the air before they shut it down for Classic Radio Roundup because I had company and I couldn't just break away too soon. Than never. Alright, then, good to hear you there, Red Baron. Train back on the side.
Hello, Red Baron. Good evening, Train. Good evening. And you're right. It was ungodly out there. I wasn't doing all that. I was out there a little bit today. But I gotta say, that was not comfortable at all. I'm in here now, too. All right. Better late than never.
Okay, so I guess the question I have is, okay, where was the party at and why wasn't I invited?
And was there ice cream?
I don't know if it was any ice cream because ice cream... They get too hot and then your stomach curdles.
Yeah, because there was no Wayne, no JR, no Pete, no Train. And okay, they're all off somewhere having a good time and I wasn't invited.
JR, did Pete leave yet?
Stand back. The AC, 69 degrees inside. It's the place to be. But I did have to step out there a little bit earlier today. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't my cup of tea, but I had to do what I had to do. I even went and got the air conditioner looked at in the car, so we had a refill on the air conditioner with the big dose of blood. So, you know, of course it's not going to go bad in the winter. It has to be bad in the summer, so... That's just par for the course, but other than that, it was a good day. I got some things accomplished, but most of it inside. Better late than never. Hello.
There's Wayne. Hello, Wayne.
Hello, Dave. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, anyway, JR, I cut the lawn today. But I did it relatively early in the morning. Like 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, something like that. And it was already hot, but it wasn't strenuous because, you know, riding on a tractor is not exactly a workout. But man, I would tell you, stepping outside to put the dogs out and stepping outside to do this and that a couple times and watering the plants and man, it's like an oven out there. I am so grateful for Mr. Carrier and his wonderful invention here.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, you know what comes after mowing the lawn, don't you? You had the weed whack. Or did you say no?
No.
Yeah. I get you. Well, good. I'm glad you got it done. You didn't have to weed whack. That's even better, because waiting until the night wouldn't have helped matters. That was, the night there. I just stepped out there to check on the raccoons, And I stepped out there and I'm like, good grief, that's still miserable. Sick. Very sick. And hello, Wayne, I heard you too, but yeah, no. So the best place to be is indoors, in the AC, sipping on a glass of iced tea, and just relaxing. And what you didn't get done today, do tomorrow. My air conditioner went for my
hell's your air conditioning in your house? That's what I'm worried about.
This heat exchanger works just fine. It's nice and cool in here.
That's good, man.
Yeah, that air conditioning service, luckily I don't have to pay for it though. It's all under the extended warranty that the factory put out when that air conditioner, so they had a callback on it. But anyway, if I had to pay for it just to hear everybody else on the radio, what do they call it? They dump it out, you know, and they check it and blah, blah, blah. Just to do the check would have been almost $400. That's outrageous.
Yeah. There is a recall out on Hondas. I think I got something like that too. There's some kind of problem with Honda's air conditioning, and they did a recall on it, and supposedly they're extending the warranty several more years to, you know, if it's still working, they're not going to do anything, but, you know, they're going to warranty it for, you know, X more years or something, and then if something fails, then they'll fix it.
Charging me $750 to replace my AC in the car.
Well, it's not cheap.
No, it's not. Parts are definitely not cheap. So, yeah, so that's the thing, you know, exactly what you said, Dave. If it comes back, there's really nothing. They couldn't find anything wrong with your air conditioner. It just needs to be recharged. Well, then it's not covered, you know. But, well, lo and behold, that's the deal. It was a factory defect or whatever, you know. What do they call it? It wasn't the compressor, it was the, condenser. There you go, the condenser. That's what was bad on it.
Yeah, those things, I think the problem is they corrode or something, and then they leak.
Yeah, well, no, I don't know if it's an O-ring, whatever. He was saying something about the O-rings and this, that, and the other, but, yeah, so they're going to take care of it. You know, unfortunately, my condenser's not like the stock Civic because it's that particular model they have to order. So it'll be in pieces, so I got to take it back in there. Pieces, they got to rip the front end out to get to it, so it'll be an all-day job. They will give me a loaner. That's nice of you. Something with air conditioning anyway, right?
And that's warranty work, Jim?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's not going to cost me a dime.
That's good. They ain't gonna figure out some way to charge you something, you know, the Winklejohn charge, you know, it's apart from the warranty.
Nah, there's no label, there's no nothing. It's all covered. Even what they did today, it's all covered. And no charge. You're good to go. Not going to be charged for it. Just come back Tuesday and rip into it and put it in.
Where did you go to have this done?
That's at the Honda dealer in Limerick.
Okay, because I got a couple of recalls that I need to get done on my car. I just haven't gotten around to scheduling one yet, and I have to find a Honda dealer to do it. Because I bought my car used, and it was out in Lancaster somewhere, and it was a Hyundai dealer that I bought it from, so obviously they're not going to service it. So I got to find a reputably decent Honda dealer somewhere. I was going to the one in Limerick seems to be the closest one, I guess.
Yeah, they're pretty good, but they're $200 an hour. You know, that's outrageous. $195, I think it was an hour. And I'm not too fond about that. After this service, I got to find something else to go to. I'm not going to deal with these guys for $200 an hour.
Yeah, I have a funny feeling that you're going to find that that's the going rate just about anywhere now, unless you go to a non-dealer mechanic. Because the dealerships are always expensive.
Well, you know what, Dave? That's the thing, though. You know, not bragging or anything, but the Honda's usually just for oil change, brakes, and the common stuff. So if I can find me a mom and pop shop there, that will take care of it, and so be it. Of course, I'll ask what their labors are and look into their background, but that's what I'm going to go for anyway.
I'll find Look up Joe there, Last Chance. He's a good guy, and we know him.
Oh yeah, I know Joe, but the last thing I heard, he does inspection at the tire place, but he kind of got away from the mechanic part of it. Man, I haven't seen him for a while though. He was down there in what do you call that? Ron's? Yeah, over in Ron's, over there at the tire place. You know, I'm drawing the blank the name of the tire place, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I haven't been to Joe since he was over there in Collegeville there, or Skippack, I mean. He moved out of that place, and yeah, I guess he's working out of the tire place. That's what Pete was saying. Because Pete takes his car over to Joe and has him do this and that and that and this, and maybe just inspections, I don't know. But yeah, I guess if he's not doing full service work anymore, I guess that's off the table.
I use Arun and Sons Auto Center. Who was that, Wayne? Arun, Haroon, and Sons Auto Center. They're, you know where I live? They're up on the corner, right by the fast food place, or the not fast food, the like 7-Eleven type place. 7-Eleven type place. You're not talking about Leiden's up that way. No, what's the name of? I can't remember the name of it now. It's like escaping me.
You mean like a Turkey Hill?
Yeah, Turkey Hill, that's it. Oh, okay, that's back the other way. That's heading toward Limerick. It'd be right across the street from Turkey Hill.
That's Rupert Road, right?
Yes, correct. I got you. All right. Well, I'll put that on the list. But I think that's what I'm going to do. I haven't seen Joe for a while. He opened another place over there in, he has the place in Ron's, which you call Skippack. And then there's another one over there on Germantown Pike, Cass Valley Forge Road. You go down, and he's on the right-hand side. He opened another one up, too. So he's got both of them running.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that. Huh.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Pretty busy fellow. I'd like to stop by and see if he's still kicking his heels there. He'll be at one or the other anyway. See what he's up to. I haven't seen him for a while because I stopped getting my tires there at that place in Ron. They were a higher price for the tire I wanted for my car by a good bit, actually. So I got them up at TJ's. Same tire for a bit less there, I would say. Well, anyway. So with that said, I haven't been over in that direction. I'm gonna have to make a stop. Now I'm retired. I'm gonna put that on my list.
Yeah. Is that Creamery that he works at?
That is correct. Yes, Creamery.
Yeah, he was doing some kind of work there. Because what I understand from Pete anyway, that he doesn't have that shop over there in Skippack anymore. It was on Collegeville Road or whatever that was. He got out of there supposedly, and now he's working in the tire shop. But I guess that's down more towards Ron's.
Yeah, the Creamery there. His old place caught on fire. And he went from there and he done front end alignment there for Creamery. That's how he got started. He did front end alignment there, and they put him in the bay on the end. So the way he went, you know. And then there's another another Creamery actually down there in where I just said down there in what's that be? Trooper area. I guess that might be Trooper. But Creamery opened up another shop down there, and he got another bay down there as well.
Well, I guess he's still he's still kicking, doing this thing.
Yeah, it's been a while though. It's been a while. Had to be at least, I'm going to say, let me see, probably 5 years.
Yeah, last time I saw Joe was, I had my Fiesta at the time, and I had him, I had some transmission oil to it because it was leaking. It had a seal or something that started leaking. I couldn't get the plug out. I didn't have the right tool to get in there and get the plug out, and he did it for me, and I said, when you put the plug in, do me a favor, just don't tighten it down too much. Then from that point on, I could do it myself, but yeah, that was probably, God, let's see, when did I get, the Fiesta, that had been like 2015 or so. Yeah, so it's been probably 10 years since I've seen Joe.
Yeah, next time I talk to Pete, I'll mention his name, too, last time he ran him, so I imagine he might still be doing his inspection. I know he still had his inspection license when I was down there, so he might have been doing that, too. I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure. But if he is, I'm sure Pete still goes to him.
Yeah, last time I talked to Pete about it, he mentioned that he still goes to Joe to get inspections.
I'll go over there when I do see him. Hey Joe, how you doing? How much are you getting an hour these days? That's the first question I'll go ahead. He'll laugh, but he knows how I am.
I mean, a lot of times it depends on what you're getting serviced too, you know. Some shops charge a flat fee for a specific, like an oil change or a brake job or something, and, you know, if it's like an in-depth thing, then there's an hourly rate involved.
Well, yeah, he's mostly front end. He lines the wheels up. I know that's what his main thing is there. The front end line. So, yeah, I would imagine a flat fee for that. I don't know. Other than that, I don't know if he does any other troubleshooting or not. Brakes and such. It'll be interesting, though. I'll find out. I will get there. I will find out. Now that I'm in the hunt for something, you know.
Well, that's the thing with these newer cars too. You know, it's harder to do your own stuff to them. To put rear brakes on my wife's old Escape, I had to get myself a computer program that I can plug into the OBD2 port so that I could disengage the brakes and wind them down or whatever. So, you had to actually go in there electronically and release the brake completely, and then I could do the work and put them back on there again. And then I had to calibrate it again. It's like, geez, whatever happened to the old-fashioned way of just changing shoes, you know, or changing pads? No, it's a whole big rigmarole. You just can't squeeze the caliper together. You got to screw them down, you know. I guess because they got the parking brake in there too now.
You know, you're absolutely right. They get $60. They do the brake job, like these dealers, right? They do the brake job, and then they charge you $60 for calibrating your your caliber.
Yeah, so I got this computer program that, well, unfortunately it only works for Fords, but you can get into all kinds of stuff and reset stuff, transmission shift points and things like that. But you know, I'm not going to pay the kind of money that these shops want to do this stuff. I'll do it myself as long as I can. But you know, there are some things that I just can't do anymore. It's out of my. I just don't have the tools. I don't have the right tools to do. And when I put the timing belt on the Fiesta, that was a job and a half because Goofy Ford doesn't have keyways on their timing sprockets, and you have to line everything up. You have to immobilize the camshafts, and man, it was like craziest timing belt that I've ever had to change, but I managed to get it done. But that just goes to show you just how much of a pain that a lot of these newer cars are. The older ones were a hell of a lot easier.
Amen on that. Yeah, when I first moved up here, all my tools I got rid of before I moved up here, so I didn't have no more plans on working on all this stuff. I kept the basic stuff, At the time, I could still do brakes and all that. Didn't mind that, but I mean, the more, oh God, I don't know. There's just some tools that was just, I had so much of them. I used to work on them in my younger days and didn't mind, The old Chevy stuff, all interchangeable. Everything was pretty easy to work on, plenty of room. Yeah, as I got older and things started getting cluttered and going to the Brainiac brain cars and relays, and I lost my interest in it, So, hey, bless you. I mean, you're still be able to get under there and jack it up and do the deep. More power to you. I'm good. I'm going to leave it down there and let the guys do it. I'm going to find a cheaper guy. Hopefully. But a lot of my tools are, in the past there. So, some of them are special tools. But anyway, let the younger generation do it.
Yeah, I know. I'm starting to get that way myself. Well, if it's a job that I can do without a whole lot of fanfare, I will do it. But if it's one that I got to tear the whole front of the car apart to get to something, I cringe at the thought of changing water pumps anymore. Depending on what kind of car. Like my truck would probably not be that bad, but the car, I don't know. But I do this stuff to save money because we had a Chevy Astro van 20 years ago, and it started the hard shift, and it was throwing codes. The check engine light would come on, and I'd read the code, and it would tell me, low pressure or something in the transmission, blah, blah, blah. Did a little bit of research on it and found out that, the aluminum valve body in the transmission is, the piston in there is steel or whatever, and it wears into the aluminum, and then it causes the pressure to slip on by, and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, you can replace the valve body for $400 and some or something like that, or the other, the dealer says, we'll replace the whole transmission, $3,000. I found this aftermarket thing that you can bore the place where the piston runs back and forth in the valve body, and you press in this steel sleeve, and a new piston, and blah blah blah, and it cost me like $95, and I crawled under there, dropped the pan, dropped the valve body, and did the work and reamed it out and put it back together, and ran better than it ever did. Shifted nice and smooth, and saved myself a whole boatload of money doing that. And that's the only reason I do some of this stuff, because their answer to everything is you get a little bit of a transmission problem, they want to drop a whole new transmission in there for $4,000 or $5,000. It's like, doesn't anybody ever rebuild this stuff anymore?
Yeah, you would think that wouldn't be an issue, but you're right. The transmissions are outrageous, and honestly, I remember highway transmissions. Well, back in the day, you can get a reasonable release there for $100. I'm trying to remember here. I'm trying to think of a transmission place that I know of off the top of my head. And I don't recall any. I don't think highway transmission is still in business, but it's not something I look for every day either. It's probably what it is, the mechanics aren't
dealers, they don't want to get fucked. I don't know if they deal with that or not. Probably not, just like you said. Put a new in there and so be it. But off the top of your head, do you know the transmission place around the local area?
I know I've seen them advertised here and there, like a Lee Niles or something, but I couldn't tell you precisely where there is one. But yeah, I mean, it's gotten very hard because now a lot of these newer transmissions, like especially Nissan and some of these others, are you can't really repair them because the parts aren't available. Except for, through the dealers, and, they'll charge you an arm and a leg. It's not like the old days where you could, take a 400 turbo hydromatic or a Ford C6 or something and take it to the local guy and, they'll replace a couple of clutches or something else in their bands, and, in your in and out, or we used to just go to the junkyard and you could buy a junkyard transmission for $200 and slap it in there yourself, and it was just a matter of linkages and a vacuum hose or something and a couple of coolant lines and you were done. It's not electronic. You didn't have to calibrate everything. It's crazy now.
I remember one time my dad, now I was young now, but he had a shipping partner, excuse me, it was an automatic transmission, and it would slip in between gears, but there was a module, I forget what that module was called, and it wasn't too bad to replace, but I didn't see him put it in there, so I'm not sure where it was, but there was a name for that module. So he did it himself, same thing, did what he did. He put new filters on and dropped the training fluid. Put the module in there. Oh, God darn it, I just don't remember the name of it. You probably know what I'm talking about.
That's the vacuum modulator valve.
Yeah, we were talking about an older transmission. That would be the vacuum modulator, yeah.
Well, that's what it was. So, yeah, it was simple, it wasn't a big deal, but back then the same thing. He used to do his transmission, drain them, new filter, pop it on there, et cetera, et cetera. It's in the bottom of the pan. Now, you usually got a little bit of junk on the bottom. All depends if it was ever done before he bought it. Usually most of his parts was used back then.
I have a 99 Chevy Venture that 3 years ago, I just had a transmission rebuilt for it because the modulator shift valve inside the electronic solenoid shift valve went bad, and I looked to do it myself, but it is internally mounted.
So where'd you get it done at?
Honestly, I forget the name of the company, but a bunch of my buddies who are mechanics recommended them. They're down in I think right outside of Lansdale area. I forget what they're called though.
I'm just kind of curious. I just don't recall seeing anybody in the local area doing that. But I guess it's always. I wonder though. If you had to get a transmission rebuilt, Dave, like that little one you're talking about. You had to get that rebuilt if they would touch it. Or how they would deal with it. I'm curious how they would probably look at that. No, they're all throwaway.
This was it was $2,000 to $3,000 for the whole rebuild. But they did a really good job, knock on wood. Everything was cleaned and, it looks like they repainted the casing. They did a really nice job, but it was expensive. But the wife and I were looking at, replacing the van, and we're just like, we're not touching anything with any decent kind of mileage for under $10,000, So we pulled the trigger on getting that done. Because I don't know if you had this, Sandbagger, but the Chevy Ventures with the 3.4s have bad intake gaskets. And mine just turned 100,000 miles and it had already been done. And I'm like, the thing runs fine. It's not rotted. It's in great shape. so it was worth doing.
Fun stuff.
So what was the, if you would have bought that new transmission, what kind of price were they giving it to you? You know, I'm curious, between 3,000 and what?
Who, me?
Yeah, you said you handed out 3,000 to have that rebuilt. So what's the new transmission cost?
I don't know if they gave me a price for a new one. Probably more than that. Probably any more. Probably $4,500 for a new transmission.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious what the difference would be. Curiosity.
Yeah, those Chevy 3.4s and those transmissions, they have a classic traditional fault in them. So I had another 2002 Chevy Venture that was the same thing. The motor blew before the transmission did, but I had to do intake gaskets on that thing because it leaks water. I forget which way it leaks, but it if you don't catch it in time, it just starts eroding on the heads. So then you have head issues.
Oh, wow. Well, you know what? For what you got involved in it now, you might as well sit on that thing and run it so it don't go no more.
Yeah, that's the kind of the plan. You know, I thought even maybe, you know, if the motor goes, doing a motor in it, because it's a 99. It just turned 100,000 on it, and the body's in real great shape. There's a little bit of a dent in the one quarter panel for one my wife's grandmom owned it, but it's in great shape. The interior's pretty decent. You know, it looks like a nice. Once I wash it and polish it, it still looks great.
Well, my next question would be, how many years is it before you can put a classic tag on that?
I could probably do a classic or antique. I could do classic, definitely. I could probably do almost antiques, 99 to 2026. Yeah, it's antiques are 25 years.
Oh, wow. I'll be doggone. I thought it might have been longer than that. I don't know. I don't keep up with it, but I was curious. Is there any benefit in the classic tag on that?
The only thing with the classic tag is you don't have to get emissions tests on it. Antique, you don't have to get anything. But I use that's pretty much my band van. So, you know, I don't feel like getting harassed, you know, 2 or 3 in the morning coming home from shows with it with an antique or a classic tag on it. But it really only sees, I mean, now that I'm not doing shows as much as I used to, I think last year I put 400 miles on it, 500 miles on it.
Well, on a classic though, there's no cap on the mileage, right?
There's technically no cap on mileage on antique or classic. The insurance companies kind of dictated that, but I mean, there's certain things where if just being hassled in the way of, like, if a cop sees it sitting at a bar, you know, at 2 a.m. getting loaded with gear, or they see it out that late, there's a little bit of a gray area where they could pull you over and ask you what you're doing with it, because you're not supposed to use them for any kind of business, or, you know, it's a pleasure vehicle only.
Oh, well, see, I didn't know they had that little sideline involved with that tag. I wasn't sure. Okay, well, I learned something new that on the classic. I remember hearing something about the antique plate, though. There was some ruling on that. That's a little bit different, right, on the antique. They got a little bit stricter rules there or something.
Almost the same. You can't use it as a daily transportation. I think you can take it to work like 1 day a week. It's not meant for 1 day a week. They say primary use is for car shows or parades, and then a lot of people always used to say you can't drive them at night, which that used to be an old, that's not an old wives' tale, but that's on vehicles that don't have modern day lighting equipment. So if you have like, you know, a turn of the century steam car that has lanterns on it, you're not allowed to be drive after dark.
Okay, I got the gist of that. All right. Very interesting. Well, it's not that I'm looking for a classic plate, but you mentioned 1999. I figured maybe there's some benefit out of it, but apparently nothing good for you.
No, especially like I said, I keep it under the mileage every year. Which now we're talking, now that it's July, I got to get it inspected. Yeah, I think I have 4 vehicles at my house right now. I have tagged as antiques.
I was going to ask you what you got, but I don't know if you want to put that out, but that's okay. Interesting.
I was thinking about putting antique tags on my truck, but I read somewhere that you can't tow it when you're antique. I don't know how true that is, but yeah, that's my main reason for having it.
What's the weight of your tow? Like, what's the weight that you tow?
Well, let's see, probably around 6,000 pounds.
Yeah, let me, I think we had talked about that once before. I think you are right. You're not allowed to tow anything large with a antique.
Yeah, because, I don't use the truck very much. It's got 66,000 miles on it, and it's 30 years old, or very close to 30. It'll be 30 next year. It's 29 years old now. And so I don't drive it very often, so I meet that category. If I drive it once every couple of weeks, it's maybe to go to a place and pick up something from Home Depot or something I could throw in the back or something like that. But I do use it to pull my boat and any other trailers, and that would be the only sticking point. Not being able to do that. But it would be nice to put antique tags on there. I wouldn't have to worry about inspections anymore. Insurances. I think insurance gets cheaper on antiques because they know right away you're not putting the miles on it. And there's a whole lot of advantages to doing that, but who knows?
Yeah, I was gonna say, just about ready to call it for the night. But what you would have to worry about with your insurance is if you're towing something, that might become a very gray area. If you're towing your boat with antique tags and there's an incident. But yeah, the one Falcon I have antique insurance on that, and that's like $7 a month or something. It's super cheap. The other vehicles I don't have antique insurance on yet. The one car I'm definitely going to get it for, but the other two are more valuable, so I got to try to get some kind of specialty insurance for those.
Now, do you have replacement value for your insurance, or is it just liability?
See, that's the thing. I haven't done my insurance policies in so long. I'd have to look. I think I do have them valued at a certain amount, but the value I valued them at when I did it isn't, it wouldn't match for today's replacement value. So, like I said, the two show vehicles, I think I'm going to go to a one of those specialty insurance companies that deals, specifically with, antique, and get something so I have a good estimated value for them.
Yeah, because that's the thing when you got a show car or something like that, and something happens to it, you need to have replacement cost on it, because there's, an antique car, a lot of them, especially if they've been restored, they're $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, some of them, depending on the car and how popular it is or how rare it is. And you don't want it. You don't want them looking at it and go, oh, it's a 40-year-old car. It's depreciated. It's worth $500. Yeah, no.
Yeah, when I 1999 when I repainted my truck the second time, I think I got about 10 grand, if not more, in just the paint job on it. So, yeah, I got to rethink my. It was a lot different when I got all this stuff done the first time.
Yeah, you just gotta make sure you're covered. You know, it's one of those things. You gotta protect your investment. Oh, and the other thing too with antique tags, is that a once and done? You buy a thing for the tag, or do you still have to renew it every year?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's once and done. Once it's registered for life. The life of the vehicle, or as long as you own the vehicle, which was another thing. You know, I have like 7 cars I was doing every year, so it was getting kind of expensive. So getting the 4 with antique tags on it, yeah, I don't have to worry about registration every year.
Well, see, that's another thing, because my truck inspection's up this month, or not inspection, registration, and it's $116. I would love to save that.
Yeah, my little Ranger was up, last time I got it done was close to $185, I think it was, just for a small Ranger. You know, now a larger truck, they always said it's more expensive because of the wear and tear on the highways and using it for work. And I'm just like, this is just a little Ranger.
Yeah, well, yeah, it all depends on the weight class. If you're a class 1, it's one price. If you're class 2, it's another. I think I might be class 2, and that might be why it's more. You would probably be class 1.
Yeah, mine's the Ranger with the splash bed. I can't even fit a 4x4 or 4x8 piece of plywood in it.
Yeah, Rangers are. That's not even. Well, I guess it's classified as a half-ton maybe, but yeah, it's class 1. 5,000 pounds or less.
Yeah, 10-4. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to pull the plug on the night. It's been a pleasure talking. Nice to see the rest of you guys showed up. Nice hearing from you. And I don't have anything going on this Sunday, I don't think, so I should be on a sideband.
Yeah. Did you do a gate tonight?
Roger that. I did do a gate tonight. And I've been slacking on it. Last week's Classic Radio just got uploaded today.
Yeah, I started listening to it. Yeah. Anyway, that's another thing I want to just pass on to whoever's listening. I will not be around Sunday, and I will not be around next Wednesday because we're going up to the mountains for the next 10 days, I guess. So don't be alarmed if I'm not around. Ooh, mine's Radio Cat just came in here at warp speed. Oh, because the dog's chasing her. Great. Oh, lovely. All right, well, I'm going to catch everyone later myself. It's evidently time to go hit the head, or hit hay, or whatever you want to call it. So good night, and we'll show you later. Classic Radio Roundup.
Hey, okay. Joker, Dave. Good to hear you guys are glad I caught you guys. But yeah, Dave, enjoy your vacation. Yes, enjoy it indeed. And hopefully it will tame down a little bit on the temperature for you and get some great weather in there. There you go. I don't want it to rain the whole time you're up there, even though we use it, but I'm not going to wish that on you. Anyway, with that, please enjoy and catch you, and Joker, take care. Until next time, old JR, we go.
Catch you later, Jim.
All right, Dave and Joker. Train back on the side. Y'all have a good night. Ragger, have a good vacation.
Yeah, see you later, Dave. See you, Joker.
Yeah, see you guys. And hello, Rooster. Goodbye, Rooster. Catch you later.
Chuck, chuck.